Comedy Mushroom Cult Podcast. What up, fam? Oh man, what's going on? It is Tuesday, July. Wow, could you imagine if it was already July? I already understand that this year it's January, right? So like it's already the 14th day of the year. We're 2 weeks into this year, 2025, the year of our Lord. Thank God, you know, we're in the time of the season where the date is higher than the temperature, because I think it's 12 degrees out, 12 degrees out in Chicago. I think last time I checked it feels like -5, which, I mean, let's move to a walkable city, he said a year or so ago. And you know, you get what you ask for in this life. And this is about that time where people are like, these Chicago winners, and yes, the Chicago winners are bad. We're not going to do this every podcast, but like this is when, like this is the same as Milwaukee winters right now. But now I just get to like walk in it and wait for the train in it. And I mean, it is what it is. That's kind of the point. Like that's you come here. It builds strong people. But I don't know. Let's like relax. Everywhere's got shitty winter. All right. It just depends on where you live. You get used to it. But no, it's exciting. We are 6 days, so just under a week away from the Trump presidency. We are about, hold on, math, 5 days from TikTok being shut down, probably. We are in the time of the year where California is on fire completely. A month or so after State Farm canceled a bunch of people's fire insurance. So like, I don't know, I put a post up the other day, as long as like the country's not on fire, we're not going to do a whole, this is going to be a fun episode, as fun as we get. I don't know, just like a nonsense episode is what we're going for on this one. Give the people, give yourself, I don't know, I'm just fucking, we're out here, just like, just speaking in colloquialisms and just being too loosey-goosey with how we're talking today. No, I don't know, like we're just gonna give you a timeline cleanser is really what we're looking at, a palate cleanser. Because since the election we've been a little wound tight, but I mean, let's just give ourselves a fucking breath from a bunch of stuff. You know, remember 4 years ago when we elected Joseph R. Biden to president, and it was because we wanted a break and we wanted things to get less crazy, and it's just been crazy every single day for the last 4 years, going on 5 years now. So, I mean, fuck, if we want to do the math, 8 years. So, it's just been crazy every day. Like, we just see too much. So let's talk about my life. But no, it's halfway through January, and because things have been crazy, like, my, what's the word I'm looking for? Anniversary, with the girlfriend is on the 13th of December. That's also Taylor Swift's birthday. Happy birthday, Taylor Swift, that day. And so like I want to do life catch up. So, cause it's been a month since some of this stuff has happened that I want to talk about, and we try to keep things timely. That's why everything being on fire is brought up. That's why, politics is, because it's every single day, right? Like it's something new every single day. And it's something that like it's a very easy thing to be like, politics is everywhere all the time now, and then just like try to buck that trend, because that's kind of what's happening. Like all of my videos online are getting demonetized and pulled from the algorithms because I don't fit the community guidelines, and like one of the community guidelines is being either pro or against one side of politics, which is just insane, or like using harsh language. So like community guidelines are being set up, like it just came out last week that they're getting rid of fact checkers at Meta, Facebook, Instagram, what's the other thing that they own? WhatsApp. What don't they own? Honestly, they're starting their own like virtual reality company as well. But like they're getting rid of fact checkers, but like I 100% see it getting skewed towards like, I mean, it was already skewed. They say that like the Biden administration pressured them to hide stuff, which I'm sure they did. But I'm 100% sure they also helped Trump get elected in 2016 and 2024. But like they also just like suppress anything that's not clear white bread. Like it's not television, it's the fucking internet. It's supposed to be like peer-to-peer, shared real experiences from person to person, and now it's just making people act like they are, just so like Instagram can sell more ads. We're supposed to act all like cleansed and sanitized, and like cussing doesn't happen in the real world, and everybody's a white Christian blonde mother. And what if the kids see it? Like they shouldn't be on fucking Instagram if they're a child. So I mean, like what community standards do we need? Are you an adult like that's afraid of language? You can't like change the channel, you can't turn off the TV. Why are you watching Instagram around your children? Shouldn't you be parenting? I don't have children because I don't know how I would be able to do that. Like that's a decision that you made to have a child. So like anytime a parent's like, oh, it's just, you don't understand how tough it is, we need a break. I don't know, that's kind of like you decided to do that, you don't need a break. It's like when I bitch about having to do this stupid job all the time. And I understand that that's being hypocritical, but welcome to the Hypocrite Podcast. But like, I don't know, like that's what I signed up for by not wanting a 9 to 5. Like that's the old joke is you work 24 hours just so you don't have to have a 9 to 5. So I mean, it's the same thing. Like it's your responsibility. It's not my responsibility to be out here and be like, hey, what the HE double hockey sticks is going on here. Like grow the fuck up. If you can't hear some swearing on Instagram, fix your algorithm. Because if swearing and sexual content's in your algorithm, that's just kind of what you're looking at, and that's why it's in there. So like, I don't know, have better self limits. What's the word? Self-control. And for me to be preaching self-control is absolute nonsense, but like, also, I don't know, like, I shouldn't have to like do lowest common denominator bullshit all the time to get famous. Just so some fucking dipshit in like rural Arkansas who doesn't read books or like doesn't understand a reference or doesn't understand innuendo or any sort of gray area bullshit, and everything's either like racist or not racist, or like this is the way it always was because my daddy's daddy did it. So you know, like you can't just like, you can't make everybody happy, and I feel like if anything, you're cheapening your product by making it for everybody. Like that's why everybody hates Facebook and Instagram and Meta now, is because it's fucking whitewashed nonsense. All it is you keep like they want your attention on things, so like that's why they don't want any swearing or anything like that, because God forbid you hear fuck and then you're just like, oh, you like clutch your pearls, and then fucking, I don't know, Invisalign doesn't want to like advertise on your fucking post, you know? So whatever, it is what it is. But we're gonna do a little bit of catch up. But yeah, my anniversary was about a month ago. 9 years now is how the math works. Needed a sip of green drink. We're back on green drink today. We had French press earlier this morning. I finished my French press before I started work, because that's what happens when you're self-employed or you run your own small businesses. You can enjoy your French press before work instead of during work sometimes. But no, it's like it was fun. And it's our first one in Chicago, so this year, like, our Christmas was we wanted to do like experiences, not just like things, you know? So we did like for my Christmas present, we did an architecture tour, like the famous water architecture tour that's in Chicago. You get on a boat, you go up and down the Chicago River. It was like 50 some degrees on the day that we did it, so good thing it wasn't too cold. For her Christmas present, we went and saw Nosferatu on Christmas because she's a big weirdo and into Dracula and bullshit like that. But it was a good movie. I liked it. It was not my favorite movie of last year. Maybe we'll do that at some point. But we're 14 days into whatever. We can do a year in review later because, I mean, whatever. You need some time to look back on it. But yeah, so like we did stuff like that. But for our anniversary, we went to a jazz club. And I wish I remembered what the name of the jazz club was. And I should look it up, but I don't care that much. I think they're doing fine. They're always sold out. And it's very fun. Like, it's one of those things, like, we live right around the corner from the Green Mill Jazz Club. And, I don't know, it's the same exact thing that's like going on with Instagram and Facebook is going on with jazz because we're sitting there and like these younger kids, we're going, kids, you have to be over 21 to go. So like these whippersnappers, but like they were in like their early 20s and like you could tell it was like their first time at doing some sort of like jazz clubby thing. And they just like ran into one of their friends. And it was like, I like to eavesdrop in public. Because like that's what are you gonna like you're not gonna listen to this conversation happening right in front of you, and like the one guy was like, oh, how'd you guys find this club? And they're like, oh, we just looked for like jazz clubs, like, and then this one popped up because it's one of the famous ones in Chicago, which jazz is just like comedy, and it's very funny that like they have to do like all the best jazz players come and do this club, fuck all the other clubs. And it's just like every comedy club ever that's like, this club brings all the best, fuck every other club. And it's like, yeah, your club brings the same people as that club, because everybody's afraid to hire anybody differently, because God forbid the crowd doesn't know exactly what's coming to them all the time. Like they would have to process things because we're watering everything down for fucking idiots these days. But like these kids were talking to each other. And I know they're adults, they can vote, but we'll call them kids because fuck it, we're gonna be old men today. I got gray in my beard, I got gray in my hair, so like we'll say kids. And it's like this guy and his girlfriend, I'm assuming, but I mean they're young, so they could be a part of a polycule, they could be just like non-sexual partners that hang out all the time. Like they could like live together because they're making like a financial decision where they're both like white bisexuals, but like not attracted to each other, but like they understand how each other's important. So like they don't want to put any sort of label on what they are because like they're not going to be like romantic partners, but they're partners in life because like you need companionship, but sometimes like your companion can be different than your sexual partner, you know, and like labels on things is really antiquated and actually kind of insensitive if you think about it. So to put a label on their relationship would just be very rude and put them in a box. And you know, young people can't be put in a box these days. So these young jazz fans that probably cohabitate and are of separate sexes and probably have touched each other, they were talking to this table of other young people, and they were like, oh, how'd you find this? And they found the club, blah, blah, blah. And the guy goes, oh, you should try like the Green Mill Lounge that's in Uptown. And so I started paying attention because it's around the corner and I want to try that one. And they're like, you know, there is a statue in there that is naked that's like right in the middle of the floor. So it is a little risque, but that's like, jazz has a dark side to it, which like obviously jazz has a dark side to it, you fucking weird white child. It's so funny when like, now that we're away from like the civil rights movement, now nobody's saying that black or brown people have anything near as good as white people, but like we're on the same page. But like it's sanitized. Like we have white jazz now for 20-some-year-old white children to go to and then be able to say that jazz has a dark side. Like, no shit, jazz has a dark side. Jazz has been around for over 100 years, at least, and was like predominantly African American or black with a capital B, or like people of color, right? So like, and it starts with like big band music, blah blah blah. Well, it goes back to like fucking tribal music. Fine, wherever you want to start it, it's mostly black artists, and it was like filled with like the art community, and like cool hip white people got into it, people who like actually helped change the world, and like it was demonized because like it's where black people can show excellence at something that white people aren't as good at, which is having rhythm, and just doing cool shit. And so like for this kid to be like, yeah, it has a dark side, and it's like, yeah man, go look at, like, if you love jazz as much as you say you love jazz, go find me a great jazz musician who wasn't addicted to heroin at some point. Like, yeah, jazz has a dark side. So like a naked statue in like 100-year-old's jazz club at least, yeah, it's going to be there. And yes, jazz has a dark side to it. Like, there's how many stories of people getting shot at jazz clubs? Like prohibition, all of like the fucking, what's the word, the speakeasies and shit. It's Chicago. Like, during prohibition, like, they have like all the gangsters and shit, and they hung out at like the fucking jazz clubs. Like, yeah, jazz has a dark side to it. Everything has a dark side to it, you fuckface. Like, like, that'd just be like me being like, oh, if you want to go to this Catholic church, they have great stained glass windows, but like, you know, that's they have a dark side as well, and you're just like, shut the fuck up. But no, of course, like, white people ruined everything, and like, jazz is fun. I like it a lot. It was a good time. If you ever want like a good night out with a little bit too expensive drinks and like food that costs too much for how good it is, go to a comedy show. Come to one of my comedy shows, where the food's always shit and the drinks are always a little weak and overpriced, but that's comedy, baby. You know, that's showbiz. Comedy has a dark side too. You wouldn't think, but it has a dark side. But like jazz is a fun thing. If you like any sort of music, it's nice. It's live music, and like you can catch on pretty quick. But you can tell it's like, I don't know, like, this is what I'm worried about. This is where jazz, catching jazz fever, because it's just like our fun little joke. Because it was fun, and it's just like, I would like to listen to more jazz and go do more jazz stuff. Like, I have jazz fever. It is a fun thing to say around the house. Like, jazz has a dark side, and I have jazz fever. But like, you can tell that like a lot of rich people hang out at these places because they're just like not used to being told no. And like, that's what happened. And you can start drinking before the show. Like, they tell you to show up like a half hour before the show to get food orders in and drink orders in. It's like, it's literally a comedy club with no opening act. They just play for like an hour and a half, which is great, and they do a good job. But like, you're supposed to be quiet, like at a comedy, because like, you're trying to listen to what these people are doing, and like, they are very good at their craft, and like, it's the intricacies, and like Brooke Whitehead would say, a comic here in Chicago, originally from Wisconsin area, I believe, that's where I met him, is like, it's not, like, comedy's a lot like jazz. It's the things I'm not saying up here, but it's the same. Like, jazz is like, it's a lot of the notes that you're not playing, and so it's like fun to like hear those holes and like what your brain is expecting to happen, because there's like a chord progression that's supposed to happen in music, and a lot of times jazz like plays with that, and it's fun, it's intellectual, and sometimes it doesn't work, and that's fun to like watch them work through it. Like the same thing with live comedy. It's like, you take a swing, you fuck up, and then you have to fix it. It's fun as like an artist to like watch them put that together, but to do that, people have to shut the fuck up. And there was like a whole table of these rich people just ordering bottles of wine, and like, you could tell like the waiter is like real pissed that people are complaining about them talking, because he's supposed to get, like, he's going to get a real good tip from these people, and like, they're talking the whole time, and they go up to these people and like, they like send the host over to like tell them to shut the fuck up, because everybody's complaining about them. They're being loud. And it's not even when it's like time to be loud. Like, they gave you time to like talk and catch up in between songs. So like, you can like order drinks and whatnot, and these people, it was almost like they were waiting for it to be like in like during the songs, and they'd just be loud, and like, you can't really hear it, and it's distracting. So these people like picked a fight with the table next to them, who like were asking them nicely to be quiet. And this is why I'm upset about Trump being in for the next 4 years. Is it's going to give people like that, who like see Donald Trump be rude to people and then like get his way, and then like society just kind of sways and bends on that. So like, they're not used to being told no. Like, they see themselves as like a white, affluent couple who like is going to tip the waiter well, and that's gonna get them like an okay to do whatever the fuck they want. And unfortunately, that's how businesses work. They don't care about, like, they will give the one table who's super rich and will give them a nice tip priority over the 20 other tables that they have there that can't afford to give them a nice tip, but like together we'll give them a higher tip if those people are out. Like they're tripping over dollars to gain pennies is what businesses do and what people will do when like their life is dependent on tips. So people kick these people out, and like they threw the biggest bitch fit. And if you're going to be an idiot, like do it quietly, because what they did is they like yelled at the other table that they were being snowflakes and like weren't being adults about a situation. It's like, no, we saw the whole situation. They asked you nicely to be quiet, then you weren't quiet, so then they told on you, and then you called them snowflakes and like how they weren't like mature. You called them immature snowflakes. And it's like, who is the grown adult in a fur currently yelling that somebody's a snowflake in a room where everybody's trying to enjoy jazz? Like, we're all trying to enjoy some sort of adult thing, and you can't handle being quiet and enjoying it. But like, they're the snowflakes and we're all immature because you can't be loud and interrupt this whole thing. Like, I know jazz has a dark side, but like, you can't just be aggressive for no reason and then call everybody a snowflake. Like, that's not what we're going to do. Because we've, like, I don't know, there's people like me who don't care now. Like, what are you gonna do? Get me fired from this? Nobody pays attention already. Like, I have no problem throwing a drink at some rich lady now. Like, that's the thing. We're not doing it. We're not going to let these people get away with like just yelling anymore and being like, whatever, they're fucking stupid. And it just like ruined jazz for a little bit. But then when they were kicked out, while they were walking out, like the song ended and like the jazz people made fun of them. And I think that put these people in their place, because it's like, yeah, dude, like, you can be mad at us. You're enjoying jazz while talking to your friends. That's fun. Like, you signed up for something different. I get it. Like, but once the guy's like, hey, everybody shut the fuck up, we're listening to jazz, that should be your cue that that's not like what you signed up for. You fucked up. Sorry, you could go do something else. I had this situation at a piano lounge in Green Bay a few years ago, where it was somebody's Christmas party, and there was a show going on. It would be like music, then comedy, and then we did an intermission that had music in it, and then we did comedy again. And during the intermission, a Christmas party came in and like just would not shut the fuck up. And so like the host couldn't handle it. He just didn't have it in his arsenal to deal with it. So I had to go up and be like, and like everybody except for like 2 people would like shut up and got into it. And like, we're down with it. And I just finally, like, the one lady like wouldn't shut up. And I was just like, ma'am, I completely understand what happened here. You were responsible for planning the Christmas party outage for everybody here. And like, now there's a show going on and you didn't set up a backup plan. So instead of being like, hey guys, I fucked up, we need to like change the plan a little bit or go to the backup thing, you're being an asshole and trying to like make this the right decision and take control of the situation. You're not in charge of the situation. I'm going to be louder than you. I'm smarter than you. I can like, whatever you're about to say to me, you are going to be upset with my retort to that. So like, please stop now. You're going to look stupid in front of your friends. The people who own this bar own the bar right next door. So why don't you go next door where you can be as loud as you want and your dumb fuck friends can do that? And like, all of this lady's friends went and they like kind of were basically, oh, I didn't even realize that the place next door was owned by this place. And like, you don't want to be like, go to a different bar, but like, if it's run by the same people, you're not costing the venue any money. It's the same people, right? And they're just like, yeah, let's just go next door. And like, this lady just stood there and talked through everybody's shit the whole time just to prove her point until eventually everybody left her there by herself. And that's what you need to do. People like that in your life need to be held responsible for that. Like, we're done with like, oh, that's just the way Susan is. Knock it off. Susan, fucking figure it out, all right? You're allowed to be wrong. As a society, we need to just be like, and everybody, not right, left, otherwise. It's the same thing with fucking COVID people who are still wearing masks or saying trust the science. You can say we got it wrong, yeah, we were wrong, sorry about that, my bad, we'll try better next time, I'll shut the fuck up now and move on. You're allowed to do it. You don't have to call everybody snowflakes on your way out of the fucking jazz club. You don't have to call everybody deplorable on your way out of the White House. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, you lost, you made a bad decision, right? I don't know. Oh, speaking of bad decisions, I've been like scheduling reels on Instagram lately. I'm gonna do like a new stratagem, flim flam on the Instagram soon because I got some. I did a show with Zoltan Kazas, or 2 shows with Zoltan Kazas last weekend. If this is your first time listening because you saw me there, thank you so much for coming and becoming a fan and becoming a follower, whatever you are. Thank you. The shows were great. Thanks to Zoltan. He's the fucking best. God damn it, what was I going to say? Oh, he gave me some tips on online strategy. I don't know why you need to know that. So we might be switching that up, but it's still gonna be insane. But I've been scheduling reels out, so like I know that there's something going on, and then I have like time to get more content filmed, so then I can whatever keep it going. The problem is that like life moves a little fast, and like again, like last month at a certain point, there was a school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin. That's not funny. A lot of like the jokes that were made about it were like, at least it was like the first female school shooter, like shout out Wisconsin for doing that. Like that's how, like that's what some like Wisconsin people were making the like, that's how liberal Madison is they have the first female school shooter, which like I guess cool, like we did it. But like I scheduled a reel it's an old clip from when I did a show in Truckee, California. And it was soon after like the Uvalde shooting where those cops in Texas wouldn't go in there and save the children. And basically the joke is as Chovy decides that he wants to move the camera the entire time and make it wobbly, so sorry for that. Hey, come here. You don't need to be messing with that, but you can come here. No, you leave that. Come here. Alright, whatever. Do whatever you want. I don't have control over my own household. These fucking cats run it. But like there was like a part of the Uvalde shooting where like a guy stopped and used like the hand sanitizer, and that's the joke, is that like that's what people who wear masks in public are doing now. They're doing as much to stop the spread as like the Uvalde cop using the hand sanitizer pump in the middle of a school shooting, which was going on during COVID times. So like that's the other part of the joke, is that like they couldn't go into the room that the shooter was in because there were more than 20 people in there. So they had to wait until he killed more people so they were allowed to go in that room, right? So it's a fun little like, yes, school shootings are bad, but like liberal ideas are very stupid too. So like whatever. I scheduled that to go out, and then like the day that went out was the day after that school shooting happened, and like I didn't realize that reel was the one that was scheduled to go, and so, which sucks, and it wasn't on purpose, and nobody noticed it. I noticed it before anybody else, so I'm kind of telling on myself, but it's very fun how just like, since the world is ending every single day, like it's like if I had a joke about Los Angeles catching on fire the week after it's caught on fire. Like if I had one from like a year ago where I was like, yeah, and then the whole city of Los Angeles caught on fire, and like that came out afterwards, and then it was like, well fuck, I can't post that joke right now because something just happened in the area that I'm making fun of this on. So like I deleted it. I don't like and it's not one of those like I didn't want to like get canceled or anything like that, because I feel like it's insensitive. There's like a time and a place for certain jokes. The day after a school shooting near places that I've performed, and like in a state that I like lived in for a few years, and in a community that like was affected by it, filled with people that I care about, like we don't want that. We don't want them to feel like I'm trying to capitalize off of that. It was just like the weird timing. So I don't know, like just keep your head on a swivel when you're trying to like do things responsibly the right way, and you or me, like you can't do both of those things, because like it's like trying to plan ahead. This is why it's so crazy for like me to try to like make a step into being professional, because like you have to do planning and there's got to be foresight. But like when the world is literally changing every single day, you need to be flexible as well. Like you can't just like to be scheduled in like an unschedulable world is insane. Like I'm not the crazy one for being like wacky when the world's super wacky, right? Like I can't be the one. Who's the crazy person? Like if you're the only sane person in the world, you're the crazy person. Like if everybody else is crazy, they'll put you in the psych ward, you know? It's one of those things. And I don't know, I could also just like not make jokes about the fucking horseshit cops that exist. But because of that Uvalde case, the Uvalde shooting, like the parents sued the police because they didn't go in there and save them, and the courts basically said the cops have no responsibility. Like it's not their job to protect people. So fuck the police. We'll put on record on the podcast. Quit licking the desk. The fucking cat is licking my podcast desk because he's insane. Shove. Come on, dude. Knock it off. Yeah, get. Alright. I realize that I've not done a bunch of sports on this podcast in a while. It's the most important time of the year. It's NFL playoffs going on. College football playoffs are about to be done. I think this weekend is when Ohio State plays Notre Dame, which fuck Notre Dame. Notre Dame, I put it on my Facebook and nobody thought it was interesting, but Notre Dame being good at football again is worse than Trump being president, because every racist person I know loves Notre Dame, and it's not like every Notre Dame fan's racist, but every racist is a Notre Dame fan, because they're usually white and Catholic, and that's whatever. Like, that's the one thing that the KKK gets correctly, is that they don't like Catholics. Everybody's got something, you know? And, but, like, I don't know. And, like, that sucks. And I also don't like that Ryan Day might win a national championship, because I think that, like, he's not a good football coach. And he can't beat Michigan. And I don't care if we win a national championship. It's not beating Michigan. Because, like, national championships mean nothing. Yes, you get money. Yes, it looks good. And that's, like, the point is to win the championship. Hold on. Can you stop, please? Go. Like, yes, you play to win the game and you play to win the championship. But, like, I don't know. Like, even if, like, it's the same thing, like, if the Browns beat the Steelers twice in a year and then the Steelers win the Super Bowl, the Browns can be like, yeah, but we beat you twice, so you still fucking suck because you lost to the Browns. Like, that's what rivalries are. And that's what college football is all about, is rivalries. Like, if we're going to pay the players, which I think we should because they're making a bunch of money, I think, like, we should maybe get rid of the championship and tie everything to the rivalries to keep it college football. Like, there's, like, that's the thing that you're going to lose. And I'm not one of those, like, we need to keep every tradition, but, like, the rivalries are important. Like, Ohio State, Michigan, if that was never played, that's fucking horseshit. USC, Notre Dame, that was going to go away for a minute. Like, if that goes away, that's horseshit. Like, and it's happened in different places. In college football, like, you can schedule whoever the fuck you want to schedule, and that's why it's, like, annoying when they're like, they only played the teams on their schedule. It's like, yeah, but they also scheduled the teams, unless you're a new coach. But, like, whatever. Like, college football is crazy and it's going through big changes. But, like, also, like, I don't care about the national championship. Yes, if Ohio State wins the national championship, I'll say congratulations and I'll take it back that Ryan Day should be fired. But I would much rather have beat Michigan and lost to Texas, right? Like, cool, we beat Texas. And we beat Oregon, but, like, I don't care about Texas or Oregon. Like, they don't matter. Like, if we had to beat them once to win the national championship, fuck Oregon and fuck Texas. And I know Oregon's in the Big Ten now, but, like, who cares? They're not a Big Ten team. They're fun. They have, like, nice uniforms. They've never done anything cool. Like, they've done a lot of cool shit, but, like, they've not really ever won anything big. It's not the Pac-10. We don't give a fuck. It's Big Ten. Alright? The SEC can suck dicks too, because, like, they're not even in the championship this year. That's what happens when you get more than 4 teams, is you see how weak the SEC is, and we just need to, like, stop giving it the credence, because, and I mean, they're good at football. Like, I'm not going to say it's like the Big Ten and the SEC that are the top 2, but let's not, like, say that the SEC has, like, a big fucking like grip on college football just because the ESPN owns the right to SEC. And I'm not like one of those big like ESPN wants the SEC to be in there because they want higher ratings. Like, sure, like I mean everybody goes to the SEC or Big Ten so they get higher ratings and get more better players and more people come to their games and give them money and stuff. But also like who cares, right? Like the SEC is lost and they're not in there. Like it's Notre Dame, an independent team, versus Ohio State, a Big Ten team, and Ohio State beat an SEC team to get in there. Notre Dame beat a Big Ten team to get in there, but like, who cares, right? The biggest news is that Bill Belichick is going to be the head coach of the University of North Carolina. Again, this is old news, but like I haven't been able to cover it because like I've been busy with like other life shit, and now it's time to do sports. I think it's a cool move. Since college football is going to be pro football, it's good to get like the best coach of all time in there. It'd be very cool if he won a national championship, so he can like be one of those few people who have won a national championship and a Super Bowl championship as a coach. I think one or two people have done it. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I honestly think he picked University of North Carolina because it's cool looking. Like, the powder blue, nobody can touch that. It's a Jordan school because Michael Jordan went there. And like, imagine like a football player. Like, imagine having like a running back as number 23 that just like runs the world. Like, imagine that. Like at UNC, you could like make a new program because it's very cool. It's a basketball school, but it's got a bunch of money coming into it. Like Drake May came out of UNC, so like there's money go into it. It's not unknown, like they can go in there. I also think that they're in like the Big 12, or the Big East doesn't exist anymore. The ACC, I think ACC, but like you're gonna be in the playoffs next year, like because they want Bill Belichick in there and they're gonna turn it around. So like instantly gonna get there. Bill Belichick likes hanging around 20-something-year-old women as well, so that's a positive. So I honestly think like a big part of it is like it's gorgeous weather. He gets to hang out in North Carolina, and then he's going to be in the championship all the time. He gets to be on television as much as he wants. And like, what are you gonna, like when all these coaches are like, these kids don't want to play anymore for like a tough coach, or like all they care about is the money. Like, okay, you're going to go play for Bill Belichick, who's going to be the best pro coach of all time. Now maybe going to get in there and be a really good college coach. Tell me he doesn't have connections to the pros because he's the best. Like, he's going to get you more ready for the pros than anybody else, and you're going to look cool doing it. So, like, it's going to be USC in the fucking early 2000s. I honestly believe that. I need to stop the cat from getting something crazy. Hold on. No. Stop. We're not eating that. Nope. Hey, I'm used to having to get the other cat, not you. Sorry for that. This is the size of if you're listening, you don't get to see this, so YouTube exclusive. This is the size of like these like chunks of hair that come off of the gray cat in his hammock, and what they'll do is they just like, every once in a while, these cats will like pick one up off of his hammock and then like drop it and try to chew on it, and then they'll throw up fucking 20 minutes later and then be surprised by it. But that's college football. NFL football's going well. Divisional playoffs are coming up next week. I had maybe my worst weekend of betting of the season. I'm still in really good shape, money-wise and percentage-wise, so that's good. I'm like over, I think it was, if I lost every bet this week, I'd be at 54%, which you have to be at like, I think 54, I think it's 52, where you actually start making money, and like 54 is a little bit over that. So I'm in good shape. But this is what I really want to talk about, because there were like a few think pieces about how whether the WNBA is actually popular, and I do have a theory about the WNBA, because people are like, the WNBA is here to stay, and I think that that's true. I think the WNBA is going to be one of the newer things that we deal with. Trump's America, maybe not. Like, maybe we don't have to like yes queen the WNBA in, but I think that like at this point, like last season was fun and interesting, and like decent enough basketball to like have it where people pay attention to it. I don't think people care about basketball that much anyways. Like, people who care about basketball are ravenous about it. Same thing with WNBA, and that's like a lot of the people were like gatekeeping in the WNBA because they were like, we've been fans since it started, and it's like, okay, cool, so like now you don't want other fans, like you don't want this thing to grow, like you want it to be yours. It's the same exact thing as like left-leaning people, period, that like vote. It's like, yeah, we want it to be this way. And it's like, okay, we want to support you too. And they're like, well, you're not supporting it the right way. We've been here the whole time. And it's like, oh, okay, so we're doing that. Like, this is just your pet thing. Like, you don't even care about it being better or it being good. Like, it's just your thing. Like, that's what you want. And that's how people feel about the WNBA. But I don't think, my take on it is that the basketball used to be better in the WNBA, or it's been at the same level for a while. It's just under a microscope now, because the players are more hot. And I understand how misogynist that sounds, but it's gotta be it. Like, with the mix of Instagram, and these young women knowing that sex sells, kind of, and like being able to be their own influencers and like have their own voice again. It's like NFL players having a podcast. Like, these guys know that they can make extra money and like make their, like, they can control what is said about them because they can say it themselves on their own platform. And that's what these women are doing, is they're like, cool, I can like make money off of having this platform of it being a WNBA player, and I'm attractive, and I can like have my own brand at the same time. So like, yes, I'm making dog shit WNBA money, but I'm making money off of Instagram. And like, it's smart. They're smart business women using the internet for what it's for. And I think that that's honestly why it's growing. Because now you're getting dudes involved because like they're like, oh, Cameron Brink is real hot, let's watch her play basketball. Angel Reese is like posting a bunch of pictures of her all the time, and like, no, you know, like, I don't want to be mean to Angel Reese because she's on the Chicago Sky. Like, we're Sky fans here. We're also Fever fans, so like that bird magic thing is kind of weird. But like, it's because they're hot, and like more people want to pay attention to it, and they have like swag. And I'm not saying like Sue Bird isn't attractive. It's just like, when she was at her prime, social media wasn't huge, and like women couldn't like it wasn't seen as like acceptable for them to like make money off the court as much. Like, you had to pretend like basketball was the only thing that you did, so you like butch it up a little bit and you're like, we're just like the men. And it's like, no, now we look good and we play good, which they play fine, but like, it's still fun to watch because they care, and like the score's fun, and like there's a lot of drama all the time because there's like wives and exes playing against each other. It's awesome. And like, the one thing that you could push back on me is like, okay, cool, so like, we're watching because of Caitlin Clark, is like the biggest reason that anybody's watching the WNBA. And if you're saying it's anything else, you're a liar. She moves the needle because she's so good. And that's why the WNBA is so big, is because Caitlin Clark. And is she a like traditionally attractive person? No. But my theory on this is she's so good at basketball that like, it's the Tom Brady effect, where Tom Brady, when he's coming out of college, just is this doughy 6.5, 7 of a man, but then he ends up being so fucking good at football that he gets the supermodel wife. Like, he's so good at football, he gets the number one supermodel in the business to be his wife. And then we all get tricked, and like, he fixes his teeth, he loses a little bit of weight, gets a good haircut. Like, we all get convinced that Tom Brady's super hot. But he's like an okay looking dude. He's kind of goofy looking, but he's so good at what he does. We're like, fuck it, Tom Brady's hot now, right? And that's what Caitlin Clark is. It's like, she doesn't even try to really do like hot girl posts or anything like that, and she's not going around like taking advantage of that side of her ability to do things. But like, she's so good at basketball, you're like, yeah, that's kind of hot. Like, you're very, and it's one of those, like, anytime people are like, men are very simple creatures, if it looks good, like, sure, there's a level of hot where you're like, I don't care if this person kills my family in front of me, right? Like, we all have that feeling when we see somebody that attractive. But then you'll also see somebody who's not like traditionally attractive, but they're so good at what they do, you're like, oh, like this is really, like, they're powerful, you can tell they're confident, you can just tell that that's somebody that you would, like, your biology takes over, and you're like, they're so good at this one thing that, like, if I mate with that, my child will be a fraction of that, but still, like, in the top tier of that. So, like, you find that, like, your monkey brain finds that attractive. And I think that's what's going on with the WNBA right now, is especially since, like, in the real NBA, the MNBA, you go to, like, people, like, go in there and, like, Steph Curry's shooting a million threes, and it's fun to watch. And it makes people think that they can play basketball as good, because anybody, if you practice hard enough, can get better at shooting, right? Like, that's the whole thing. You don't have to be a 6'10" freak or 6'8" freak like LeBron James, sculpted out of fucking metal and twisted steel, and to be the best at basketball. You could be Steph Curry and just work your ass off. Now he's got a pro basketball father, and he's blessed with athletic genes as well, but, like, without practicing so much, he's not Steph Curry. And I know LeBron practiced a lot, but, like, if you're LeBron James, you're going to be good at athletics, right? That's kind of how it works. If you're Steph Curry, that's not a guarantee. Where, same thing with fucking Caitlin Clark. Like, she's not a tall woman who can just, like, box people out and miss layups like Angel Reese and get her own rebounds and get double-doubles every game. No, she got really fucking good at dribbling and shooting and just really good at the skill. And you see that dedication and you're like, oh, okay, I want to watch that. And that's what brings people in, and that's what makes her attractive. So, like, I think the WNBA doesn't need to, like, hoe out and, like, lean only into being attractive, but, like, they need to understand that it is what it is. And, like, that's why a lot of women watch the NFL. It's good-looking dudes, very good at what they do, being jacked and strong, and, like, that's hot. They look good in their little uniforms. Like, Travis Kelce is handsome on television, but, like, he's an okay-looking dude, but if he wasn't the best tight end maybe ever, he's not dating Taylor Swift, you know? Like, that's why women want to watch the game. And sure, they're fans of the game as well. I'm not going to, like, boil it down to women just like hot dudes, but, like, that's part of it, you know? And, like, men want to be that good at football. Like, that's why they watch it. Like, and that's what makes it cool. And so I think the WNBA needs to get their head out of their ass, and their fans need to get their heads out of their asses and be like, yeah, you know, like, we got hot chicks who are really good at basketball. Come watch our fucking sport. Let's sell out the United Center 4 times to watch Angel Reese go against Caitlin Clark. 2 decently attractive women, but they're so good at basketball, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna follow them. And do you know what? We're gonna, like, just be, like, you're so good at basketball, we'll let you try to, like, be an internet hot girl. Like, that's what we just need to embrace. And it's the same thing with basketball. Like, it's male basketball players and rappers. Like, Damian Lillard's so good at basketball that we're like, fine, we'll say that your rap music is good. Fucking Shaquille O'Neal had a whole rap album. Like, he was so good at basketball that we're like, yeah, you can pretend to be a rapper. Like, it's the same thing. So it's not, like, sexist. It's just like we're moving it a different way. Like, the internet puts a big priority on, like, looks because it's, like, a picture or a video, where, like, men don't, like, get the same, like, because the women aren't as thirsty as men on online pictures, and I know you are, you fucking weirdos, okay? You just hide it better. It's not, like, the minute that it's fine for you guys to be as gross as men are, you do it, okay? But, like, that's the same thing. Like, you don't, it's a different thing. Like, I don't know, it's Tom Brady. Like, he's not hot, but women would do anything to be with him because he's rich and he's really good at what he does, or did. So that's my WNBA take. So this has been sports. This has been fun for me. But I don't know. I hope that this was a nice palate cleanser. I'm sure I'll be mad about something eventually, but things are going really well. I had really good shows. I have a bunch of really fun shows coming up. I'll be in Louisville Thursday, back here in Chicago Friday for my show at Room 13. Saturday, I'll be in Saugatuck, Michigan. Then next week, I'm in Milwaukee, and then I think Michigan again. So, like, I'm bouncing around. And then February, we got a bunch of fun shit coming up. Not enough. If you have a show and you are booking for February, book me. Fucking Alaska's coming up really quick. Oh yeah, February, I'm back in Fort Wayne for a weekend, feature weekend for Friday, Saturday. So come to a show, RayRobertsComedy.com, at RayRobertsComedy on everything. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to this, and have a good rest of your week. Love you, bye.